From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Well, greetings, fine people. It is wonderful to have you joining us here on the Badass Counseling Show. I am Sven Erlandson, the host of this show, and whether you are greeting us from Sarasota or Seattle or Boston, Mass, over to Bel Air, California, we like having you here. Or if you're down south, way down south, down under, or way up north in the Scandinavias, we enjoy our listeners very much, and you come in from all around the world. And today's show is representative of that. We have two followers of the show, listeners, who have written in and asked to be on the show. And we've got a dual-person show going today. And we'll get to that in a second, but I've got my full team here, out of pocket and in studio. I've got Rob the Rocket and KC joining me. Hello, Rob, and hello, KC.
Good day, Sven. How you doing? Everything good?
Lovely. And yourself?
You're looking fine. I'm feeling good. I've been perusing our listener mail, and it's really satisfying, I have to say.
Yes, and what have you found, young man?
People seem to be getting something out of this, and I'm so happy about it.
And KC, how are you today?
I'm just great, trying to stay warm.
Good. Yes, it has been quite chilly in the New York City area this winter. Lots of snow, uncharacteristically so, in southern New England. And although New York is not considered New England, but in the New York area and Connecticut and Massachusetts, lots of snow already. So that's a warm welcome, cold welcome to the season. So, speaking of cold things, hard things, I have no idea what snow has to do with today's show, but what the hell. Let's go, Rob. Get us cranked up on today's two guests, but we're actually going to start with one, Rob. We're going to start with Bev. Tell us about Bev. And I'm going to open up with Bev, and then we're going to dive in with Bo Rabbit in a minute.
Okay, Sven, happy to. Bev wrote in and said, I have struggled with low self-esteem and setting healthy boundaries my whole life. I tend to function in extremes in that I either self-isolate or I overextend myself to keep busy. I've been a caretaker for as long as I can remember. I feel as though I fix everybody and everything, yet I can't seem to figure out how to properly care for or fix myself. I often wonder if anyone would notice if I just disappeared. I feel shame when I allow those thoughts to creep in, but only because I worry about who would raise my youngest child. I've been seeing a psychotherapist regularly for approximately 3 years and have probably read a dozen self-help books. I do think I'm a good person. I am honest, loyal, and trustworthy. I go out of my way to help other people. But at the end of the day, I feel that I'm left out in the cold. I often feel unloved and unwanted. I often wonder what I've done to deserve this life. Sometimes I just want to pack up and move away, but I know that won't change how I'm feeling. I want to live without limiting thoughts and beliefs. I want to live a life worth living. I follow the Badass Counseling Group on both TikTok and Facebook. I listen to your podcast. At times, it feels as though Sven is calling me out personally. I have recently purchased There's a Hole in My Love Cup as well as the workbook, and I'm hopeful that I can work through my past trauma and finally love my life.
Bev, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
It's great to have you on. I noticed, our listeners couldn't see it, but I noticed while Rob was reading that you started to tear up.
Yeah. Hard to hear.
What's the hardest part to hear in what Rob was reading?
So going back, when I submitted the write-up, I didn't know I could actually sit and write about that, so many words about myself. And once I started writing, it just kept going. Mm-hmm. But to hear somebody reading it back and thinking, wow, that sounds really bad, it's almost pathetic.
No, not pathetic, because pathetic means to degrade. It means to put it down. Please don't do that. Not on my show. I'm not going to let you put yourself down on my show. Okay? And isn't it fascinating that you choose that your default is to look down on yourself? Gotta ask.
Yeah.
Where the fuck does that come from? That you say in here, I mean, and I want you to hold that question in your hand for a minute. Where does that default to put yourself down come from? When you yourself say, I've been a caretaker of people. I feel as though I fix everybody and everything. I go out of my way to help other people. So if someone else said those exact same things to you, I'm sure you would say to them, God, that sounds pathetic. What's wrong with you? Would you say that to them?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because it's hurtful, it makes them feel bad.
And yet, the voice instantly, without effort, defaults, rises right up and says something hurtful towards yourself. Where the fuck is that voice coming from? I want to know right now, where is that voice coming from? That is so default, naturally, effortlessly compassionate towards every other person on God's green earth, but towards yourself, it's like a saber just fucking cutting you down. Where's that voice coming from? Were you born that way? Did you come out of the womb just saying, fucking, hey, I suck?
No, absolutely not.
Then who taught you? Where did you learn that you suck?
Everybody. That's
sure, everybody, fine. So who was your first grade teacher?
No idea.
Do you remember the name of any teacher in school? Any teacher at all?
Mr. Lloyd.
Did you like Mr. Lloyd?
Yes.
Did Mr. Lloyd tell you that you suck?
No.
So not everybody taught you that you suck. We have taken Mr. Lloyd off the list. So then, narrowing down the list, Mr. Lloyd, God bless his heart, one of the few good people in your life, who would you say were the people at the very top of the list teaching you somehow, either with their words or maybe with a look or maybe with oh God, or whatever it was, or their no words, their neglect, in whatever way, who were the main people teaching you that fundamentally hurting you such that you learned the lesson, you just started hurting yourself. You become so good at it that your treatment of everyone else is compassionate and kind, yet your treatment of yourself is hurtful. Who was at the top of the list?
Probably my ex-husband.
Really? How old were you when you married your ex-husband?
21.
21, you got married. And so prior to that, you just thought you were wonderful. And yet you said everyone taught me that I suck, which means everyone prior to your ex-husband, which means you had 2 decades of conditioning. 2 decades of everyone, except Mr. Lloyd, bless his heart, everyone teaching you that you suck. So prior to ex-husband, who was the biggest person, or biggest, let's say 2-3 people, teaching you that you suck before ex-husband even came onto the scene?
My stepfather.
And
my mother.
And your mother. Okay. And just out of curiosity, what was your stepfather's basic message to you or about you? And how was it conveyed?
Physical abuse, verbal abuse.
And what was the message? Either that he spoke to you when he was physically abusing you or verbally abusing you. Was it fatso? Or was it, you're so fucking stupid, or you worthless piece of shit, or you're a dirty whore like your mother? What was the message? Or even if it was never spoken, what was implied that little girl felt?
I needed to be seen and not heard.
Seen, not heard.
Actually, obey, but don't speak.
Obey,
more like it.
But don't speak. And message you got from mother?
Just make everybody happy. Whatever they say.
And so those became the 2 commands written into you, the operating commands for your fucking life. Make everybody happy and obey, but don't speak. And as we read your autobiography, I've been a caretaker. I fix everybody and everything. And I worry about who would raise my child if I left, but I'm a good person. I'm honest. I'm loyal. I'm trustworthy. I go out of my way to help other people. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'm left in the cold. I feel unloved and so forth. Would you say that you have, with your lifetime, fully obeyed those 2 commands, to obey and not speak and to make everybody happy?
Absolutely.
And how has that worked out for you?
Not very well.
Not very well. And what is the fundamental message that those two commands, that child translated those commands into, and what did you believe about yourself? And what's the underlying message in obey and don't speak and make everybody else happy? What's the underlying message the child got about herself, or that you believed about yourself?
That I didn't matter.
I didn't matter. And put into the present tense, that would be I don't matter. So then, ex-husband comes along at 21. Shit. He didn't teach you anything new. No, man. The seed,
he made it worse.
Oh, fuck yeah. His seed fell on fertile soil. Are you a gardener? Do you have?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
You're a gardener, right. I don't know what your life was like after Miracle Grow came out for like plants in the house. Shoot. I was a so-so gardener, but Miracle Grow, I just put that on anything. And now there are other competitors and so forth, but it's like, Miracle Grow, make anything grow. Even an idiot like me can look like a good gardener with Miracle Grow, right? Mm-hmm. Well, your whole garden was Miracle Grow. An ex-husband comes along, and all of a sudden you've got this radical, wild bed of weeds and bamboo. My neighbor planted bamboo years and years ago. We have the most wretched bamboo infestation all over our yard. I'm not even kidding. And I love my neighbors so much. They are the coolest people in the whole world. I love them, but I hate their bamboo. And so they brought in a bulldozer and all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, point is, and I love them. I swear to God, I love them. Hate the bamboo. All right. You have had bamboo, but it's because of the fertile soil. Yeah. Ex-husband ain't your problem. Ex-husband is just the bamboo. The problem is that soil that was already so dense with nutrients of self-loathing. Rob, bring in Bo Rabbit.
All right, Sven. Bo Rabbit wrote in and said, I've had to work through a lot to get here to a point where I need to talk about it. My wife, a drug-addicted stripper and paralegal, had a St. Mary baby and talked me into a marriage. After having a second child, I've learned all her pitfalls and have tried for the last 8 years to help her grow into a better person with zero results. I've separated myself from them to work on myself by getting a job in Africa, and I want a divorce when I return home for vacation. I know she will blow everything up when I'm there, and I decided that I'll tell her at the end of my vacation. I'm not looking for validation. My question is, how do I deal with the feelings that this is all my fault?
Bo Rabbit, good to have you on the show. How are you today?
Good.
All right. Thanks for coming on the show. I'm seeing two things that jump out to me in your autobiography there that you wrote in, but I have to ask, first of all, what is a St. Mary baby?
Well, before we get started with that, I wanted to take 1 second and say thank you for all the videos and everything you do. I just want to take a moment and say thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So,
St. Mary baby. What's a St. Mary baby?
In a very simple sense, it is, she told me that she was in a car accident when she was younger and that she can't give birth to children. So we had talked about adopting and, something about it in the future and everything like that. And then one day she calls me and she says, hey, can you go pick up a pregnancy test? And I'm like,
so yeah, she was pregnant. All right. So it was unexpected. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Angel Gabriel, all that. Just out of curiosity, got to ask, is the baby yours? And I don't mean,
yes.
No, it belongs to, the God himself, it actually was. I mean, okay, so it's not somebody else's. Okay, we got that out of the way. Got it. So it was sort of a miracle, unexpected, and so forth. Got that. All right. Now, you say that basically you're wanting to end the relationship. You tried really hard to help her and no change. And you've tried to help her grow, which oftentimes is just code for I've tried to help her change. So I'm going to ask, why have you wanted to help her grow? Grow what? Why?
Everything she's basically done up to this point has been because of the children.
Okay.
I tried for
and that means
2 years.
it's been for the children, but not what?
Like I tried to get her off meth.
Oh, well, that's a good endeavor. Gotcha. So that kind of growth off the drugs is what you're talking about. And
off the drugs, off the booze,
and
learning how to communicate with, a significant other.
got it. And so not just everything she does is for the kids and yet not for us. Communicate with a significant other means I want a relationship with her. And I'd also like her off the drugs, because saying she's doing everything for the kids is bullshit because she's on fucking meth. Sorry, that's not for the kids. That's the exact opposite of for the kids. Not to mention, it's not for us. So she's so caught up in her own shit and trying to escape the shit inside of herself that she's addicted to meth and engaging in a very destructive lifestyle that's destroying, sounds like, everything around her. Am I in the ballpark?
Yep.
Okay. And for you then, I've separated myself from them to work on myself by getting a job in Africa. Okay. So when you got away to work on yourself, you got away. You don't fuck around. You didn't just go over to Alabama. You didn't just say, hey, I'm going to go up to Minnesota. You got the fuck away. All right. Got it. All right. And how has that working on yourself gone? Have you just gotten away or have you actually done some work?
Oh, beautiful.
So you've done some work.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Now then this is the thing that this was the piece that I wanted, two pieces I want to come back to. How do I deal with the feelings that this is all my fault? What feelings specifically? I want feeling words that we're talking about. Give me feeling words. Mad, sad, bad, glad, frustrated, excited, exuberant, lethargic, melancholy. Give me feeling words that we are talking about that you're really most wrestling with.
So the thing that I struggle most with is regret, because it takes on so many different meanings. When we had our second kid, I was dealing with a lot of issues because we were basically living in her parents' attic at that point. And we had found a message board where you can go post anonymously and get help with different issues that, similar people are having issues with. And she actually was able to find my messages that I was writing to people to get help with, and confronted me about it because I said, at that point, I was regretting having kids at that point because I was out of work and we were living in her parents' attic. And that's just not somewhere I wanted to be when I was having, kids.
Understandable. So she found the messages, called you out, said you're a bad person for saying you regret having kids, etc.
And with her, it's always that first word. Whatever it is, if it's at the first word that starts the argument, so I can go through and explain exactly what I was regretting, but
she doesn't
still
hear
this day, all she heard is the regret.
Got it. And so what I'm getting at, what I want to go back to with you is these feelings that are causing you to believe it's all your fault. And I asked for feeling words. You said one is regret. Give me another feeling word. You said they basically all sort of circle around the idea of regret. And so what would you say is the single biggest feeling in one sentence or less, the biggest one that is just chewing you the fuck up, that is causing you to feel like this whole fiasco is my fault, that makes you feel bad for getting a divorce or wanting to get a divorce?
It would have to go along with regret, but more or less failure to, be the, I'm still a great father, but, failure at being a husband. Part of the other reason I took the work overseas is we just really needed the money too. And so I get a lot of backlash because of that.
From her?
Yeah.
Okay. And so let me ask you a strange question. If you were to spitball it, and I know you listen to the show and so forth, so you've probably heard me ask this question of a guest before. What would you say is the power breakdown in your relationship with your wife? Power, mind you, comes in many forms. Power over the bedroom, power over finances, power of your nagging, power of you hitting me, power of the fears of what your in-laws will think, fears of what my parents think, fears of what the kids will think, all the fears and powers that go on. What percent of the power in your relationship with her, and yes, I know there's so many different elements, but overall, what percent of the power does she have? What percent of the power do you have?
10%.
Who is which?
She has 10% power over me.
In the relationship between the two of you, she has 10% of the power and you have 90% of the power. The question is, in your relationship with her, who has what percent of the power?
Yeah, I remember going over that video. She has 10 and I have 90.
Huh. Because I got to be honest with you, it's sounding like exactly the opposite. It is sounding to me like she fucking owns you. It's sounding to me like she largely controls your insides. And I'm going to tell you why. And I could be totally fucking wrong, all right? It sounds to me like she controls your insides, like she has the power to make you feel horrible about yourself. I got to be honest with you. When I counsel people, there are people I can't help. And I've been doing this shit for 30 plus years. Even the best drug addiction specialist working with someone such as your wife who's on meth, even the very best will say they fail. All right. So for you to say, I've failed and I feel bad, I feel like I failed in helping her and so on and so forth, I can understand that. But rooted in logic, your odds of winning at that battle were pretty slim. Okay. And changing another person who's so awash in their own inner stuff. I mean, we were just talking with Bev. Bev's been awash in her own inner stuff because the power of that conditioning in childhood is so extraordinary that it can overtake a person. Okay. And so what I'm saying is logically, I know you feel those strong feelings, but there's no logic to it. Not a lot of logic to it. And so what I'm saying is she's fueling that. She's fueling she has the ability to make you feel bad about yourself. That's power.
I remember watching that video that you did on that, and ever since then, yes, before I would say before that, it was probably her having 70% of the power, and then I just started making all those little changes, and so now it's if I hear her being cross with the kids, I correct her even if it's in front of the kids, and I'm like, you can't talk to the kids like that.
Good man. However, and that's good, and I applaud you for that, Bo Rabbit. I really do. I got to call you out on one thing though, and this was the other thing that I saw in your write-up. I went to Africa to heal myself. But you said it's also for the money. Understandable. Hey, got to do what you got to do sometimes. I get that. But here's the other piece. The biggest tell regarding the power situation in your relationship with your wife, the biggest tell is this little phrase that you included. You're going home for vacation. You're going to get the divorce. And I decided that I'll tell her at the end of my vacation. Which tells me, or seems to indicate, and I could be wrong, you're afraid of her. You know it's going to be a blow up, and you are afraid of that blow up. And I'm not saying you're not justified in being afraid of that, but it's like, I don't want to confront that shit, grab the bull by the horns. Let's deal with it right now. Come on, wife, let's go. Let's address it. Let's go in. I am divorcing you, and I want to iron all this shit out. Because if you think about it, if you're going to drop the bomb of divorce, not just on her, but also on the children, and then got to go. Whoa, getting late. You're dropping a bomb and you're making an exit, which tells me you don't want to deal with the blowback, which tells me you're afraid of the blowback. Again, I don't dog you for that. The blowback is a fucking huge thing. It's scary shit. But rather than staying in it, and the damage, if you're still having to call her out when she's going after the kids right now, imagine how much more her shit bubbling up because now you're divorcing her, how much more that's going to be The second you drop that bomb of divorce and then exit, it's going to double, triple, quintuple, and you're not going to be there. And it tells me it's because I don't want to, that you potentially fear that very blowback. Your turn. Go ahead.
So much, not a lot of the blowback, but it's kind of like when you mentioned one of your videos, I'm more afraid of how much she's going to do the whole, I will change. I'll make the changes now that I know that you're serious about divorcing.
Indeed. Okay, so she's going to go that direction. But my question is, why would you fear that? Why are you afraid of her making all the changes unless you fear that now as you, I'm Bo Rabbit, I don't have the courage to look her in the face and say, listen, I love you and everything, but it's too little too late. It doesn't matter now. You could have done this 6 years ago. You doing it now means you're just afraid of losing this other person, this person who's been pouring love into your love cup your whole life. You're just afraid of losing me. That's all. This isn't sincere. It's bullshit. Why are you afraid of her saying, I'll change now? In one sentence or less, why are you afraid of that?
Because I'm afraid I'll believe her.
I love your honesty, man. I love your honesty. I want to flip back over to Bev. Bev, what's going on inside of you right now? I've given you a chance to think about your shit. I want to ask you what's going on inside of you right after the short break.
You've heard Sven talk a lot about his book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. And that's because Sven hears from his followers a lot about how much the book has helped them. If you're not sure how to handle the issues getting in the way of a better life, you're not alone. And you have a lot of choices. But thousands of readers will tell you that this is a great place to start. By yourself and at your own pace. So go to badasscounseling.com and order There's a Hole in My Love Cup, and you'll have Sven right there with you as you forge your best future. It's totally badass. So get started today.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
We're back. Bev, I asked you what's going on inside of you. I've given you a bit of time to think about. We were talking about the messages going on inside of you. And you had talked about the message you got from your stepfather was obey, but don't speak. From mom, it was make everybody happy, which presumably was stepfather. In other words, shut the fuck up. We're all afraid of stepfather. And the underlying message you got from both of them was I didn't matter. And we sort of, that bomb sort of hit inside of you, and then I cut away from you, went over to Bo Rabbit, and you've now been listening to his story as well. But I want to know what's going on inside of you, Bev.
Mixed feelings, actually. I'm still nervous because these are things I don't verbalize to other people.
Mm-hmm.
I think since I started watching your videos, listening to the podcast, I feel hopeful that I can sort of flush all this out, and also anger.
And what are you most angry about as we're discussing this stuff? In one sentence or less, what are you most angry about?
So I feel like my childhood was stolen. Not just childhood. I'm 51. My whole life has been stolen up to this point because I wasn't able to feel the way normal people feel.
And just for the record, and I know this is anal, but to tweak the language, I wasn't able to feel what everyone else felt, what normal people felt. No, technically, you were able. You were able. You've always been able. It was, to use your word, stolen from you. You were not given permission. You were not given room in a safe space to just be a normal human being where when damage is inflicted, you have the natural response. If I hit my thumb with a hammer, I'm going to scream, fuck me. And I'm going to cry. I am, because that hurts. And I'm frustrated because it's the fourth time this month I've done it because I'm an idiot. All right. Exactly. So you were able, but I know what you mean. So your life was stolen. And who above all else are you most angry for stealing your life?
My mom.
Your mom.
My mom.
And why mom? And you're crying. Before you answer that question, why are you crying? What are you feeling? Give me a feeling word right now.
Frustration. and anger, both. Because she didn't fix herself to try to help me.
And what was her job above all else?
To make me feel safe. And I was never safe.
In your own home.
Mm-hmm.
What's the number one job of a parent?
Provide.
And
shelter.
Protect. Yeah.
Protect, yes.
That's right. That's right. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the first job, the first thing the child needs when it comes out of the womb is warmth. Because even a child born in the desert, guess what's going to happen at night? They are going to freeze at night. They need warmth. Warmth is protection from cold.
Mm-hmm.
The first and fundamental need of every human being is protection in one form or another. But where it really becomes important is protection of emotional needs. And very often what children most need protection from is me, the parent, and the damage I'm doing. And as you said, mom didn't heal her own shit. And so you needed protection from her and whom? Who was she not protecting you from as well?
My stepfather.
Yeah.
Even before him. It didn't start with him. I mean, they didn't get married till I was 12, but
Wow.
There were a slew of others before him.
Wow. And so a slew of others.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. My mom was very promiscuous.
Ah.
And not that any of them, I don't feel that any of them ever caused damage.
Fair. Fair.
They were very, of course, they wanted to be close to mom, so they gave me anything I wanted.
Sure. Sure.
But again, he was the main character.
And I'm not going to ask you to actually ever do this, but if there were one sentence that would most encapsulate that anger and frustration that you most want to say to your mother, and again, I don't need you to say shit to your mom in order to heal you. You don't ever have to say anything to the living, breathing mother. What do you most want to say to your mother as a means of expression? You got your thumb hit with that hammer. The body naturally wants to disgorge all of this feeling, all of this emotion, all of the. And so in light of all that anger and frustration, what do you most want to say to your mother?
Oh, I want to tell her I hate her. But at the same time, I love her to death.
Oh, and you yourself just said, I said, what's going on inside of you? You just said about 3 minutes ago, I have mixed feelings. Mm-hmm. Right. It's possible to love someone and hate them at the same time. Ever had a teenager? Ever been in love? Mm-hmm. I think Bo Rabbit right now is feeling some love and hate for his, wife. We'll get to you in a second again, Bo Rabbit. But okay. So then let's pretend that I've brought your mother in and she's sitting right here. And I have no idea if she's living or dead, but she's living right now. And let's say she's back when she was 65 years old and you were whatever age. No, let's pretend she was 40 and you were a kid. And I want you to say to her right now, I know this seems stupid, but I want you to say it to her right now. I want you to say that sentence and a few other sentences to go with it. I want you to say it right fucking now.
Oh, I fucking hate you. How could you?
Give her a few good old-fashioned I hate yous.
I do. It's hard because I want to say, but I love you.
Talk to her. You've said you love her. All your actions have said you love her. You've served her. You've thought that maybe this is the day that she's going to approve of me. Maybe this is the day she's going to accept me. Maybe this is the day she'll say, you, my good and wonderful daughter, I am so proud of you. And so all of your actions, your entire life have been obeying her and doing what she wants and doing everything she expects of you. So you've done that. You've proven the love. All right? So why don't we let out some of the other stuff? You don't have to give yourself permission to say the other things too. You've earned that right. So go ahead and say it.
I needed a mother, not a friend. There's it's hard.
You're talking to her, not me. You're talking to her.
I needed a friend, or I needed a mom. I needed someone to protect me. I needed someone to teach me right from wrong. I needed someone to tell me it was okay to be a kid, not the adult.
And I what?
I fucking hate you.
And how about a few good old-fashioned fuck yous?
Fuck you. Oh my God, fuck you.
Right. Bo Rabbit, what's going on inside of you right now as you think about what we're talking about with you and the regrets and all those feelings inside and the fear that I'm going to believe my ex-wife if she said, or my wife, if she says, oh, I'll change now and I'll do everything and whatever you want. What are your thoughts and what are your feelings? What's going on inside of you, Bo Rabbit?
It for the longest time, it's just always been so many conversations in my head because I have to have so many conversations in my head to consider all possible outcomes that could, that to finally come to something where I feel I can actually talk to her in a comfortable way and have her accept it in a comfortable way.
Why do you want a comfortable way? You use that phrase twice. Why do you want, quote, a comfortable way, end quote?
Because I already know the first thing I say, that's the only thing she's going to be focused on.
All right. So then a comfortable way is out of the question, but that doesn't answer my question. Why do you want a comfortable way? Why not just, I want a divorce? You know what? It's going to go fucking sideways, tits up, all fucking ways till Tuesday, go to hell. It's going to go crazy. And she is. And that is her pattern. And I know it's going to be. And I don't even give a shit. At this point, I just want to be done. Why are you still wanting a comfortable way?
Because I know in the end, I'm going to regret a lot more. And I don't know how to deal with that. The proper way to deal with those kinds of regrets. And I'm always the type of person to try to learn and understand something before it happens, so I'm prepared to deal with it.
I think that's great that you do that. And you need to be journaling your fucking ass off because it's all those feelings. And the thing that's going to cause you to not follow through on this is all those feelings of love and longing and guilt and regret. Gee, I didn't do enough and so on and so forth. And if you are not daily or near daily flushing all those feelings out constantly, that's the shit that's going to chew you up inside. But I'm just curious, what percent do you want your wife back and what percent do you want a divorce?
I mean, I've been journaling that and going over that. And I mean, I've even gone to the point of if I was going to die, if I knew I was going to die like in the next hour, who would I want to be there with me? And it's not her.
Okay. So then answering the question, what percent do you want to divorce her and what percent do you want her back?
100% divorce.
So then, forgive me for asking this stupid question, but why do you fear you'll believe her and gee, I'll change now? Because if you 0% wanted her back, you would not be susceptible at all to her saying, oh, I'll change and gee, kumbaya, namaste.
Because I ended up having not one, but 2 kids with her. And, we've made a lot of decisions together where it's just come down to, I mean, there's some decisions we made where I told her, I don't want to do this. If we get asked if we were going to do this, I need you to say no because I may be susceptible to saying yes, and I need you to say no. And she went ahead and just said yes.
Wait a minute. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. If you don't want her, part of her means us staying together, for, quote unquote, for the kids. And so what I'm asking is, what percent do you want the divorce? What percent do you not want the divorce?
Right now I'm at 100%. I want the divorce.
Okay. And the truth is, she's going to attempt, it sounds like she wants the relationship for whatever reasons, if for no other reason than you're providing money, because it doesn't sound like she really fucking appreciates you and so forth. Go ahead.
Definitely she needs me.
Financially?
Not wants me.
Oh, okay. So you're being used. And how does that feel? Give me a feeling word.
Well, through all my journaling and everything, that's where I've developed, learned that, at this point, I really don't ever really care if I'm, married or I find a significant other person. I have enough friends that are close enough to me that love me, and my kids that love me. I have, and I feel like I have like all the world to give my love.
Dude, I think you're afraid of her.
I'm,
I really do.
and I just don't feel like she deserves my love.
And that's great. That's great that you've come to that realization, that you see your own value, which means there's a voice inside of you that has kept you, much like Bev. There's been a voice inside of you all this time telling you it's not true, it's not true, it's not true, which means you've got a voice inside of you that you've had to overcome, and she's just been reinforcing, just like Bev's ex-husband. I want to open this up to my team here. KC, thoughts? Do you have some thoughts here on Bev and Bo Rabbit, specifically Bo Rabbit first?
The fact that you are regretting having kids or having those feelings.
Wait, just for clarification, he wrote that at the beginning of the relationship on a message board, sort of, if I understand. Okay, it was at the beginning, not necessarily now, just for clarification.
The fact that you're having those feelings is completely normal. I always say that I wish that I had 2 more kids, right? But I always have moments where I'm just like, oh my God, did I really do this when they were 2, 3, 4, 5? And I just felt overwhelmed. Those feelings are natural and normal. She used your private feelings that you expressed so that you could talk them out with somebody against you. And that is just disgusting. It means that she went through your phone. She somehow found out how or where you posted them. She didn't just magically come up with the fact that you posted something somewhere in the vast internet on a board. Okay, that is inexcusable. You can't fix her. She's got to fix herself. Especially if she's got a drug problem. She needs professionals to help her. You can't just magically, fix her. She's got to do that herself. It sounds like in fights and arguments, she's turning the attention to your faults to keep the camera off of herself.
Yeah.
And that is just total gaslighting. And you need to be aware of that so that you can combat it. When she turns the camera on you, turn it back on her. You need to get out of this relationship. It sounds like you want to get out of this relationship, and I agree with Sven. It sounds like you're afraid of her. When you do this, maybe you do this with a professional in the room. Maybe you start couples counseling. Most insurance plans cover that. I'm sure your job would. And then at some point, let the counselor in on the fact that you want to break up with her. Make sure that your kids are safe, because if she's got a drug problem, they're not safe. And right now, by staying in the marriage, you're teaching your kids that this kind of relationship is okay. This kind of unhealthy atmosphere is okay, and it's not. A healthy relationship is a place where people feel safe and warm and loving towards each other. Yeah, people fight with each other, but this is not the kind of relationship that you're having. And so do not have guilt over getting a divorce for your children, because your children are feeling uncomfortable as well. They have to be. And when you do break up with her, make sure that you have a kids counselor or some kind of course for both of you to take that makes sure that you do this in a safe way for your kids.
And I just want to interject one thing there, Casey, and that is I tell couples that or individuals, if you are thinking about divorce, if you're moving in that direction, get your child with a therapist before you drop the bomb of divorce, so that the therapist has a baseline to work with, and so that your child has normalized conversation with this person before they are dealing with this news from mom and dad about the divorce. So that way, they feel comfortable talking to this person already. It's a familiar face already. And B, this therapist, like I said, has a baseline. They already know how this child operates. They have a little bit of familiarity, a couple of sessions with this child. And so that when they know what to reference back to. Go ahead, Casey.
Just 2 more thoughts. Rip your journaling up, because your thoughts are obviously not safe around this woman. She is going behind your back and searching things out. So I would make sure that your journaling is either ripped up or completely and totally safe from her, because she could end up using it against you.
And if it is on a family-owned computer, it is not enough that it's in an encrypted file. Put it on a business computer or put it in writing, to Casey's point. Rip it up, flush it down the toilet, light it on fire. But if it is on a family-owned joint computer, she technically has access and every right to access it in most U.S. territories, whatever. But at the very least, put it in an encrypted file. Go ahead, Casey.
I also guarantee if you asked her for medical records proving that she couldn't have a baby before she had 2 babies, they wouldn't exist. And I have a question for you. Who's there in the dying scene?
My kids.
That's beautiful. So these little amazing people that you sometimes have feelings of regret for having because they feel like a burden are the people that you most want around you when you're dying. And that's the type of feelings that I was saying are completely normal. You love your children. It's okay for you to have the occasional feeling of, man, I feel burdened. It's just natural, and she used those things against you, and that is just totally unacceptable.
Casey, any thoughts for Bev?
Absolutely. Bev, you started out by saying that you were pathetic. And I look at the things and I hear you speaking, and I hear you saying that you've been a caregiver for your entire life, that you're trying to help everybody and everything around you, that you've read a dozen self-help books, that you're a gardener. And to me, that doesn't sound like a pathetic person. That sounds like the kind of person that is the driving force behind a family, behind a good neighbor, just a generally hard worker and a good person. And I think it's important for you to focus on those things that are your superpowers. And you mentioned many of them, in there. You're good, you're an honest person, you're loyal and trustworthy. Man, I want to be friends with you.
Thank you.
So try to focus on those things that make you a person that people want to be around. And sometimes good and kind and tender, gentle people attract, takers.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're coming into now is that you're waking up to your value and your worth. And once you really realize that, you're going to start to attract people that are going to be the same type of people as you. And then you can have a giving, good relationship, a loving relationship.
Thank you.
Your mom didn't make you feel safe, and that was her number one job. I mean, I think when I look back on my parents, I think the one thing that they did give me was I felt safe in my home. And to this day, that's an important feeling for me in my own home. The feeling of safety. And I'm so sorry that she didn't give that to you, and you have every right to be angry at her for that. And I share with you that feeling of not wanting to feel anger or hatred towards my parents, because generally my parents were good parents, but they had some serious flaws in their parenting, and they did some things that were seriously wrong. And it took me a really long time to find my anger and point to those things that I had been carrying around my whole life that had been making me an overgiver, giving to people that didn't deserve my love. And once I identified them and allowed the hatred and the anger to come in for these people that I loved so much, I started to heal. And I spent a good 3 or 4 years hating my mother and allowing that hate to come in until I was able to come back to the love. And some people... mothers don't even deserve that. Mine in the end did, but allowing that pain to come in allows you to release the burden that she's putting on your shoulders.
And you are actively flushing that hatred and anger out as well as allowing it to come in. Bev, on that point, I want to comment just one thing, piggyback off one thing that Casey said, and then I have a comment for Bill Rabbit, and then I want to go back in with both of you, a couple of questions. But Bev, the way that, regarding Casey's point, that you're going to begin to attract more people like you and weed out, it's the weeding out in that gardening metaphor. It's not just that we are planting new daffodils and planting bulbs for dahlias and, eucalyptus and whatever else you might be planting in your garden. But it requires deliberate effort to be weeding out. Now, where I live, sometimes weeds, we're not sure. I don't know my weeds very well. And so sometimes I let them grow and I let them grow. It's like, is this going to become a flower? And it'll get literally, I've let some weeds grow like 3 feet tall. It's like, this isn't going to be a fucking flower. And now I got to go in. And now that root system of that weed is so extensive. It's like, oh man, if I would have just plucked that thing when it was small and down at the roots, it would have been so much simpler. What's my point? My point is, this is the tricky part, because you talk about this in your write-up. In your write-up, you said, I have these people that come into my life and take advantage and make me feel bad and so forth. It starts in the beginning of friendships. It starts in the beginning of dating relationships. It is so critical. And this applies to you too, Bo Rabbit, because if you do follow through on this divorce, even though you're fine being alone, you're going to make new friends. Both of you, Bev, you're going to make new friendships and new love relationships. You both are. You're both young, all right? In your 40s, 50s, whatever. You just are. Whether you want to or not, it's going to happen. And the beginnings are the most critical points. Why? Because small things become big things. And so if you allow someone to ding your feelings on something small and not atone for it by an apology, or if you just keep quiet because your whole life you've just sort of make everybody else happy and obeyed and not spoken up. Or, gee, if I say something to this gal, let's say in your case, Bo Rabbit, if I say something, she may not like me, and I'm feeling kind of low after my divorce, whatever it might be. Guess what? One small thing becomes a second small thing. Now we've got the beginning of a pattern. And after I've let them do this or show up late a few times or not text me back all the time or whatever might be important to you, that if I allow the small things, those become medium things. Now we've got the beginning of a pattern. And medium things, what do we know? Medium things become big things. And so the way we weed out the weeds is having the courage to say, to stand up for, and not back down from our no when the things are small, Bev. That's going to be the key. And you will find that you will weed out things when it's small, but it takes that courage. Because it's always so easy to say, it's no big deal. I can take it. It'll get better. I'm sure they don't mean it. Which is the shit you've been saying your whole fucking life, haven't you, Bev?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. And I used to do it too, so I know. All right, this is personal experience here. All right. But it's so easy to let it go. But beginning to have the courage in those first few times, it is going to scare the heebie-jeebies, India and out of you. All right. But the more you do it, the more fluent you become. It's like, no, that's not okay. You're weeding your garden. You're weeding your garden. And the more you do that, the more you're only going to allow. So then when somebody does follow through a little bit, then a little bit more, you're going to let them in a little bit more. And maybe you'll open up a little bit more. And it's a little bit. And those little bits that they prove themselves, you're going to open up a little bit more, and so on and so on and so on. That's the thought for Bev. Over to you, Bo Rabbit. The thought for you is two things. One, and I want to ask Rob a question here in your case, Bo Rabbit, because I think it's really instrumental. But this notion of that KC brought up of conversations with your wife, and especially this standing up, if you choose to follow through on this idea of divorce. One of the things I tell people, if you have somebody in a relationship who just takes over the conversation, their emotions take over, or they, if you've got a really smart spouse and they can talk circles around you, or you're about to go into a big meeting and you fear getting in the weeds from all their questions or whatever it is, I always tell people, do this. Before you go into it, and you're a journaler, so journal out everything you want to say. Okay, first of all, write a letter to your wife. Write out everything you want to say, from all your feelings, all your rage, but also all your points. All right, write everything out. Then set it aside and boil it down to your one sentence takeaway. Anytime you've got a big conversation with someone, what is your one takeaway? And you can use this in friendships. You can use this in a work setting. You can use it in love. In a main conversation you need to have, we got this sticking point with regard to parenting. What is your one takeaway? So that no matter how crazy they go or how afraid you become, you always remember your one takeaway, and you just keep coming back to it, and you just keep coming back to it. And it becomes like your lighthouse. Like Split Rock Lighthouse up on Lake Superior in Minnesota. It's like your beacon, all right? And you just keep coming back to it, although with lighthouses, you go away from it, right? That's where the rocks are. All right, but you keep coming back to it. You get the point. Sort of fucked up my metaphor there, but you get the point, all right? The other thing, I want to bring this, you had talked about regret, Bo Rabbit, and this idea of feeling failure and dealing with your feelings and failure and divorce. And for a lot of guys, women too, but for a lot of guys, where our worth is so tied up in performance, failure is an issue. Failure is a fucking issue. And the idea that I failed at my marriage, geez, I failed my kids, they don't get to have a 2-parent home, and I failed as a man, and I failed to fix this person. And Bev can certainly understand that. She spent her whole life trying to help people fix themselves. And so you guys are grooving here on, same mentality and so forth. But this idea of failure, Rob has had a few divorces. I've had 2. Rob has had 3, so he beats me. Casey's had 1. And so we are the company of divorce experts here, or of failures, however you want to see it, whatever. Good at divorce, bad at marriage, I don't know, but we're all in great relationships now, all right? So we're slow learners maybe. But Rob, would you be willing to comment on your relationship with feelings of failure with regard to your divorces, and how you wrestled with, if you experienced it, how you wrestled with it, and what was the origin of that I'm a failure voice?
Well, we're not afraid of commitment, are we, Sven?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Listen, I have a lot of compassion for both of these individuals. Bev just needed a mom, okay? I get that. And Bo Rabbit, his movie is Addict in the Attic. I mean, this is tough stuff, and I have just so much feelings for them. But yeah, when you face a divorce, you feel like a failure. There's no way around that. And the reason I think that Bo Rabbit has some concerns and fear, perhaps, of confronting his wife about this, I get it. It's because he cares. If he didn't care, he'd just say, I'm leaving. But that's not it. He cares about his kids. He cares about the situation. He cares about his own self-worth in being a success in this marriage. But, I was 100% sure I wanted to get divorced. But I had to leave the house and kind of just find a place to go away and hide when I knew she was going to be served with the papers. And until I did that, I didn't realize how much pain I was in. And that is the reason. So, Bo Rabbit, I get it. But there is another side to this, and you will get there. I can clearly see that.
So I want to ask each of you what's going on inside of you. I'm going to bring it back to KC in a minute here, but I want to ask each of you, what's going on inside of you right now, Bo Rabbit?
I'm already making plans for the counselors for the kids. I know they have them at the school already. And I'm probably going to work in my journal as far as basically how you just said, bring it down to one word, one sentence. I don't know if you guys have repeat offenders, but I would like to come back in March after my leave and give you guys an update. Just kind of now I feel like I'm a lot more focused on what I need to do for the kids.
That's good. That's good focus. And what's the biggest thing you need to do for yourself to weed out the doubt and fear inside of yourself and to focus you?
Probably gonna get a copy of your book.
Wait a minute. You haven't fucking gone deep in, man? Brother!
No.
Brother! That's all right. I'm just busting balls. That's all right.
Actually, I've been waiting for your audiobook to come out, but it just never seems to come out.
Wait. Hey, wait. Motherfucker, it's been out for 2 years.
I couldn't find it when I looked last time.
You didn't look on my website. If you go to badasscounseling.com onto the books page, it's been there for 2 years. We took it initially when it came out, we had it on Audible, but Audible just rapes authors. And so we took it off and we just said, we're just going to release it ourselves. And it's, you can get it through the website. It's hosted through BookFunnel, but you get it through the website and it's A, less expensive, B, better for the author and enables me to pay, help out my team better. Whereas, Audible is just not good to authors. So that's why. No, it's been there the whole time. And you can get the workbook that goes with it. And I actually added more questions and content into the workbook, even more questions that are in the original paperback. But you're going to need to do those fucking questions. But yeah, that'll be good. That'll help you dive into the origins, especially of the failure voice and all these things about needing to take care of everyone else and letting someone treat you like shit for 8 fucking years. But yeah, you've got some good work, but especially write out that letter of all the things you want to say and start flushing out all the fears and feelings regarding the misses. Bev, what's going on inside you? Where are you at?
I think a lot of realization. It's been easy to blame other people. That relationship didn't work because of A, and that relationship didn't work because of B. But to actually sit and think, wow, like this is, I can almost see every interaction I have and see how it goes back to, well, that's because this is what I thought it was supposed to be like.
Boom. That's it. Once we begin to see the real origins of the belief system, all of a sudden, this like these golden threads, we see it through everything.
I already have a list of relationships I need to end and or not necessarily end, but fix. Wrong word. Not fix. Change. And if they don't change, then they need to end.
Yeah. Or pump less energy into and protect yourself. And that is your voice. The emotion that comes up, that's the anger, that's your no. No, this doesn't feed me. No, this hurts me. And inside of that is your I. I matter. This doesn't feel good to me. I don't want this. This isn't fair. Casey, I want to bump it back to you one more time. Any final thoughts from you, Casey?
Bev, all I can say to you is let go of the relationships. You don't have to fix them. You don't have to do anything. And you can let go of someone and still love them. I have a sister that I let go of many years ago, and I was able to do it because I didn't try to stop loving her. The love continues. I love my sister. I just can't be around her. She's negative, and it doesn't serve me to be around her. For Bo, I just want to say that many times the court system has parenting classes and classes for your kids. I would look into that because those are specialists in divorce and how it affects children and how it affects people in their parenting. So I would look into that. And to both of you, you are on the precipice of hard change in your lives. You both can see that you can't stay in these types of relationships anymore. And I really believe you're going to have some hard change very, very soon.
And exciting.
Yep.
Because it's liberating.
Yeah. And your lives are going to be better.
It's liberating. And that's, you know what? It's funny. I had a client, she was a rancher. She was in her 20s, and she schooled me on when a calf is born. Sometimes when a calf is born, what's the word for it? When it doesn't know it's been born. And what the rancher, if she finds this calf out, with the mother in the field somewhere, she has to wrap belts around it and cinch those down and hold them in place for a minute or so to simulate the birth canal, to compress the ribs and squeeze the lungs and the heart, to fundamentally wake that calf up, because otherwise that calf will wander around lost and not take to the mother's teat. and eventually die. And in the human baby has to go through the birth canal and have its body compressed. This is why we have what's on our head, what's called fontanelles, that the human head compresses. That's why when a baby is born, it has that hole in its head, in its skull, and you can't press in there. And so that its head its skull can go through the birth canal. But also going through the birth canal, I never knew this until I was taught by my daughter-in-law, who's a veterinarian, that the human lungs compress as they go through the birth canal. And do you know what that does? It squeezes out liquid because the lungs aren't used in utero. It squeezes out the liquid so that the lungs now can function on air. What's the point? You are both in the birthing canal. You're being compressed. You're about to go into hardship. But the birthing process is a short one. If you do it and go into it, all right, it's painful and it's compressing, but it's giving birth to the new Bev, the new Bo Rabbit. And it's squeezing the old fluids you used to live on out of you, but it's waking you up to new life. Final question of the day. Any thoughts for the other person?
I actually listening to you and the thought that you're dealing with your wife who's an addict, and I can tell you from personal experience that you can't change her. She needs to change herself. And if you're at the point that you need to get out, then that's what you have to do. If down the road things change. But right now you need to worry about you, not about her. You can't fix her.
Do you have a favorite flower?
I do. I like roses.
Okay. One of the things I learned in high school, I was doing agricultural studies, is that a weed is any plant a person doesn't want in their garden. So you may have daffodils, they may be beautiful, but if you don't want them in your garden, it's okay. Go and find other roses that complement you.
Thank you.
Build a big rose garden. Find people that like to do the things you like to do.
Just because some people like daffodils doesn't mean you have to like daffodils too. It can be a weed to you. Wow. Fucking hell.
Or bamboo.
Or bamboo. Casey, you wanted to say something.
I'm actually tearing up because we have these two beautiful human beings in front of us who have chosen to make their closing thoughts about the other person, and they're taking care of each other.
Which Bev is very, very good at. She's done it her whole life, but she does it to a good person, right? And somebody who has been kind and sweet. And Bo Rabbit, what a beautiful thought. Well, team, I want to say thank you, first of all, to Bev and Bo Rabbit. Thank you both so much for coming on this show.
Thank you.
Thank you. I look forward to coming back someday.
We would love to have you back, both of you, each of you. And to my team, thank you for your insights and your questions. And to our listeners, thank you to all of you. And I know I speak on behalf of all of our listeners and followers around the world when I say thank you to our guests who did a great job. So on behalf of everyone involved, go into your shit, slay your demons, have a kick-ass day.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by two-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.